Hello and welcome to this special show on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Vishal Dahiya and here we take a stock of the battle against COVID-19 pandemic. Now today we're going to talk about one more line of treatment, that is the use of steroids as far as treating COVID-19 patients are concerned. We'll try and understand what exactly is the role being played by different steroids and what is the effect as far as their use is concerned as a line of treatment. And for this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Professor Anant Mohan, Professor and Head of Department, Pulmonary Medicine and Sleep Disorders at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. We also have with us Dr. Anil Gurtu, Director, Professor and Head of the Department of Medicine at Lady Hardinge Medical College in New Delhi, and Professor Y.K. Gupta, President of AIIMS Bhopal, is also joining us. Welcome all of you gentlemen to Rajya Sabha TV, and let me begin with you, Professor Gupta. Let's first, start by making our viewers understand what exactly are steroids and, in terms of their use or effectiveness on various disorders or various diseases before we come to the COVID-19 aspect.
Thank you very much. Corticosteroids are the drugs which are usually used as a last resort, but they are also used in many conditions as the drug of first choice, like in bronchial asthma. These are the drugs primarily used for the systematic or local anti-inflammatory or anti-fibrotic properties are required. So where there is a severe inflammation, where there is a cytokine storm, the corticosteroids do provide dramatic relief. However, the corticosteroids have also dramatic or long-term side effects. Therefore, corticosteroids are the drugs which are usually reserved class of drug where you really require them for acute use and for long-term use.
Okay.
For acute use, corticosteroids are considering the favorable side effect profile better and the possibility of risk which is more than when there is given for long-term use. As far as now what you said in corona, the disease is of virus origin, but it affects the lungs. It causes what is called as a cytokine storm, which is a severe inflammatory condition where there is a vascular also issue, where there is a thrombolytic process. Now in this, large number of drugs have been tried. Antiviral drugs, drugs which can reduce the thrombosis, viral drugs which can reduce the inflammation, drugs which can reduce the symptoms, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
However, we have not yet found a drug which will completely be treating all the spectrum of corona virus, or I call as a corona syndrome. Recently, people have done these systematic trial studies where they have tried corticosteroids for this. Corticosteroids have been used for ages in severe condition and for viral condition maybe for a few years, but with contradictory results because the benefit versus risk was not established. Now in corona, more and more evidence has come in favor.
Okay.
That is when you give the drug in patient of corona because of they have anti-inflammatory effect, anti-fibrotic effect where the fibrosis develops in the lungs, vasoactive effect, and it has a quick action and it has been found to be useful in reducing mortality, in reducing the number of hospital stay, in reducing the oxygen requirement, and it also reduces the days of oxygen requirement in patients. And therefore, corticosteroids are now being used. However, there are several questions still which I will talk when my clinical colleagues will talk about.
Okay, definitely. We'll come to that aspect as well, Professor Gupta. Let me bring in Dr. Anant Mohan here. Dr. Mohan, as Professor Gupta is pointing out in terms of what exactly steroids are and their use vis-a-vis COVID-19, but there have been, studies and trials like the recovery trial for dexamethasone, and the results seemingly were considered to be very positive.
Yes, correct. So, like already has been mentioned, corticosteroids, steroid therapy has been used for ages in various large spectrum of conditions, and sometimes as a last resort, and many times as the drug of choice. And so they are basically, in a way, kind of a life-saving drugs also in certain severe conditions. Now, as coming to the COVID-19 per se, as we know, 80 to 85% of the patients don't need it. They are absolutely having mild disease, so they recover on their own. It is about 5 to 10% of patients, or those patients who have that level of pneumonia that requires, that is significant enough to require oxygen therapy, or those in whom the inflammatory response, as was being talked about, is significant enough to cause problems in the future, or there is a trend of acute inflammation or cytokine storm being kind of developing more and more. These are the situations where steroid therapy is useful, and it has been used since the beginning of this pandemic, and probably it is the most important drug as of now, which actually has a role on mortality, or a mortality benefit, as far as preventing deaths in the critical ill patients are concerned, because they are cheap, they are easily available. Most of the clinicians are pretty familiar and comfortable with using them, because all of us have used them throughout our clinical practice. Secondly, the recovery trial, as you said, that also a multi-centric large trial of many therapies, out of which dexamethasone is one of them, has shown that it has benefit. But again, it has benefit in only those subset of patients who are actually critically ill, relatively critical, and those who require ventilatory kind of high flow cannula or oxygen support or ventilatory support. So they are not really very good or effective in the relatively early or milder forms of the disease. So it is useful, yes, and it is useful in those subset of patients where the disease is of moderate to severe intensity.
Okay. Let me bring in Dr. Anil Gurtu here as well. Dr. Gurtu, from your point of view, in terms of the line of treatment and utilization of steroids, as both Professor Gupta as well as Dr. Anant Mohan is pointing out, this is about for much effective for those patients who are in serious condition on oxygen support.
That's right. So to sum up and develop some understanding of what Dr. Y.K. Gupta and Dr. Anant Mohan have so well summarized already, I would locate the steroids within the timeline, the history of infection in a typical COVID case. So broadly speaking, we can cut and divide the timeline of COVID history in a person into two fragments. The infection, which is the virus multiplying, and the inflammation, no virus, yet the harm. Infection and inflammation, if we were to simplify what Dr. Gupta and Dr. Anant Mohan said into these two segments of time and action. First comes infection, the virus. It's replicating and replicating. First 7 days, by and large, is the time window when this is happening. The virus is replicating. Now, quite counterintuitively, against what we expect, the virus does not do the damage and cause the death, mostly, unlike many other diseases where the actual virus, the bacteria, causes death. Here, the first viral phase, the first 7 days, is not the time when death occurs. After the virus begins to abate, as the immune system mounts its response and the virus begins to abate, come down, there comes the second in-between phase where the virus loads are coming down and the immune response is beginning to rise. And this intersection of the two is the transition after 7 days, day 7 to day 14, let's say, roughly. After day 14, it is no virus, only inflammation. And this is the time when, if the fine regulation between inflammation and its control, if that goes haywire, why it goes haywire, we don't know. But if that goes haywire, then the inflammation spreads like a wildfire. It's like an artillery unit gone haywire. Normally, a well-regulated, well-fine-tuned immune response will target only those cells and kill them which has the virus inside it. But once, that's the fine regulation during the rise phase, and it happens most of the time, 99% of the times. But when it doesn't happen, it gets dis or deregulated, then this inflammation spreads like a forest fire.
Okay.
And it goes on and on and on, burning the normal cells and destroying the normal cells. And that leads us to the leaky lungs and the leaky blood vessels and the clots forming all over in the smaller vessels, sometimes the larger vessels. And the two main components of clinical expression that this throws up are, one, what we call the acute respiratory distress. The body drowns in its own fluid and death because of hypoxia. And second are the clotting syndromes, the heart or the brain or the veins, which leads to strokes and heart attacks. So this is how it manifests on the timeline of 7 plus 7 in between a mix-up period.
Okay. And where do steroids come into place in this particular timeline, and how effective would they be in terms of the line of treatment which we're talking about?
Yes, that's what Dr. Anand Mohan was saying. The first 7 days or so when the virus is replicating is a bad time to give steroids. Why? Because steroids may actually flare up, as Dr. Y.K. Gupta also said, might actually aggravate and flare up and cause an upsurge of this viral response, an explosion, so to say. So the first 7 days, by and large, we don't give steroids. We focus on the antivirals for whatever efficacy they have until now. It's during the post 7 days, increasingly the second week, as we approach the second week, when the virus loads are coming down and the inflammatory response is beginning to mount. And if that goes haywire, which is, as Dr. Anand Mohan said, represented by the syndrome of hypoxia. The oxygen saturation as measured by pulse oximeter falls, and it goes below 94%. And increasingly, as that falls and oxygen becomes ineffective, that's the time to intervene. Not before, not too late, not too early. At that point.
Okay. That is where steroids come in picture. Wonderfully, nicely put in place for our viewers understanding, Dr. Guttu. Let me bring in Professor Gupta here again. Professor Gupta, in terms of benefits versus risks here, as to what we know based on evidence so far of the use of steroids. Now we know that steroids to be used in the later stage. But what's their benefit? What are the benefits, and weigh them against the risks which we have?
I think this is $1 million question as far as the COVID and steroid is concerned. Usually steroids are kept as a reserve, and because there are a lot of side effects. In COVID-19, most of the trials have been done with steroids are open label trial, where the adverse drug reaction or adverse event have not been adequately or systematically reported. Therefore, that has been limitation so far. Now, I would say the steroids, corticosteroids, though they have been found useful, as both of my clinical colleagues have mentioned, few challenges are there which will answer partly your question. Number one, what is the optimum dose is not yet decided, whether it is a 6 milligram per kilogram or whether it is whatever the dose is. Number two, we are not yet clear whether the less severe patients should also be given corticosteroids, whether the patient at home can also be subjected to be corticosteroid. As very rightly said, that sometimes it can make certain outburst of this. We are also looking at, can there be some marker, either clinical marker or biochemical marker like C-reactive protein, inflammatory marker, which can guide us the requirement, or if required, what should be the dose. Lastly, very important thing is, when you give corticosteroid, the inflammation subsides. And when you take off corticosteroids, suddenly there is a possibility of rebound. Does it happen here? Or does this mean that when you give corticosteroid and the inflammation subsides or showing gradually, so that the standard method of tapering of corticosteroid should also follow?
Okay.
These are the questions I think will be required before we go into the complete knowledge of corticosteroid.
Okay.
An age-old drug, very experienced drug, but still much knowledge to come.
Okay. Dr. Anant Mohan, your views on those challenges and the risks associated, as well as Professor Gupta is pointing out, in terms of what more we need to know before we are really, really reassured as this being a very, fruitful line of treatment for COVID-19.
Yes, so as with any other drug, whenever we are giving a drug, we always have to balance the risk with the benefit. So that is the same holds true here as well. So the risk versus benefit. That is why optimum selection of the patient is very important. That we should not jump in by giving steroids into those patients who do not need it, and it has to be given at the right time. And the right time is not too early and not too late. So it is those moderately severe group of patients who are still salvageable as per the clinical judgment who should be given steroids.
Okay.
Now again the questions are, because it's a relatively new disease, so there are different type of steroids available in the market. There are the hydrocortisone, dexamethasones, there are the methylprednisolones. Now, which one to give, which is better, what dose, everything is not yet known. Hence, one tends to extrapolate the experience of other similar diseases and their treatment to this particular disease. And by and large, short courses of steroids in acute inflammatory conditions are relatively safe unless there are upfront contraindications in the patient. So by and large, say a 5 to 7 days course is pretty safe. The problem starts when we have to give it for a longer period of time in a higher dose, because then the toxicity and the side effects, they become a concern, and that definitely has to be taken into account. Also, even upfront, the one major factor that may happen is flaring up of underlying infection or any other superadded infection, because after all, it's a kind of an immunosuppressive therapy. So it suppresses the immune response to some extent, and there is always a chance of superadded infection that we have to very carefully monitor. For example, if a person is already having, say, tuberculosis, we would be very, very hesitant to give him steroids, unless it's absolutely essential for his life, because it tends to flare up tuberculosis and other infections. So these are the challenges of the fine balance that one has to keep. For a short duration of time, yes, it is pretty safe. Once we go beyond that, then we have to really be careful of these side effects. And also the dose. In fact, now people are even trying pulse steroid. Pulse steroid means very high doses of steroid in the acute severe forms, like when the person goes into a cytokine storm. So almost 5 to 10 times the dose has been tried. It off-label use is there. Of course, it is not evidence-based, but it has been tried by several clinicians, including those in India, and many of them have found gratifying results. So basically, the aim is to save a critically ill patient. In those, if the smaller dose doesn't work, then they have tried very, very high dose as well, and 1 or 2 days only, or maybe 3 days pulse steroid. So they have found it pretty useful and safe, because there is no side effect after 3 days. But again, one has to be careful. So one has to be careful when we give these steroids, that there should be no contraindications to it.
Okay. And what are the side effects which we're talking about here, Dr. Anand Mohan?
Side effects, again, acute, that is on the short term or in the long term. In the short term, we have already said the side effects, maybe flaring up of any underlying infection might be there. That is the one most important thing. Long term or even in the intermediate term, there are some concerns of high blood sugar. We have seen a couple of patients, not many, but a couple of patients who were earlier non-diabetic, but they became diabetic after giving steroids, even short course of steroids. But probably it all depends upon how important those steroids were in that particular scenario. Yes, in the long term, then a large number of side effects may be seen, starting from cataracts, blurring of vision, then skin thinness, then easy bruisability, excessive growth of hair, then bony, the osteoporosis is there, so weakness of the bones, weakness of the muscles, proximal muscles sometimes may happen. So all these problems may happen in the long term. Increase in sugar, increase in blood pressure, increase in cholesterol. all these are potential side effects. Of
Okay.
course, everything doesn't happen in everybody, but some or the other might happen depending upon the duration and the dose of steroid which is being given.
Okay, okay. Let me bring in, Professor Dr. Guttu here as well. Dr. Guttu, your views on these two aspects, benefit versus risks, as well as the challenges based on the risk assessment they are in using steroids as a line of treatment.
See, I would locate this entire use of steroids to get a better sense and perspective of the role of steroids in COVID management today, given what we know. Let me locate it around the time of history. Now, we are well into 9th month of COVID pandemic. So we have 9 months of history of COVID and its management behind us. Looking back, you see the initial phases, and even now, the single biggest objective and the focus of struggle and concern for the medical community, as also the others, in COVID and its management has been only one: cut the death rate, how to decline the mortality, the case fatality rates. That has been a prime concern against a veil of ignorance, which we were up against early on in the pandemic and even now are. So the whole objective of all these studies was what Dr. Y.K. Gupta would know better. We call them pragmatic studies. The design was pragmatic, which means we were not going into fine granularity and fine tuning of this versus that and that versus this. We were looking at the gross mortality data. Show us something, tell us something which cuts down the death rate. And that was our chief ethical and medical concern, and is today. So from that, once we overcome that, we will go into more fine granular studies. So from that perspective, steroids have been the only message of hope till now, which has been well documented by randomized, controlled, though not blinded, trials. And they have all shown two things. 6 milligrams for 10 days does not cause any acute adverse effects except a spike or two of hyperglycemia, the rise of blood sugar, which is well within our management strategies of giving insulin, which we do use. So acutely, within 10 days, it is of no concern. The benefit outweighs the harm. As we go beyond 2 weeks, yes, the harms begin to grow, but that's not the focus or the window of our concern today. So from today's perspective, from what we know, the benefit to harm as a risk ratio is definitely balanced in favor of their use, 6 milligrams once a day for 10 days, and in the midpoint, not too early, not very late, that golden period.
Okay. And in terms of tackling the challenges, further moving ahead here, the use of steroids?
Yes. Now, once we have got the basic pragmatic sense, the message across, steroids do save lives in the moderate to severe, though not in the early ones. Once we've got that broad, aggregate, pragmatic message out, now we need to break it up by designing more fine-tuned studies which look at various gradients, the dose response gradients, the viral load response gradients, the viral load steroid dose response gradients, the short, medium, long, those kind of things, more fine-tuned and focused areas of concern, the tunnels as they were. So that phase begins now, as also we are opening up the horizon to other approaches against the genomes and all of the virus. So that begins now. But until now, our concern was only one: bring down the death rate by any way ethically possible. And that we have attained to a large extent.
Okay, and that is where steroids have been really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Dr. Anil Guttu, Professor Y.K. Gupta, as well as Dr. Anant Mohan, for sharing your views in time with us on this very important aspects. As our panelists are pointing out, this is the summary as far as the use of steroids as a line of treatment for COVID-19 is concerned. There is, sort of analysis as far as benefit versus risk is concerned, and there are certain side effects also. We'll get to know more as more evidence-based studies or research and trials are done as far as use of steroids are concerned. But as of now, what we know is that in critically ill patients, the use of steroids do bring down the mortality rate to a great extent. Thank you so much for watching Rajya Sabha Television. We'll bring you more details and some other aspects as well of the battle against COVID-19. But till then, keep watching RSTV and please do not forget to wear a face mask when you step out of your houses. Thank you.